Tarantulas are a group of large and often hairy spiders in the family Therapisidae. They are big, beautiful, and they pack a mean punch with their bite, at least for the ones that occur in Africa. Join us on this video as we explore this interesting group of creatures and find out why you should know about them. The name tarantula was originally used for wolf spiders in southern Europe and was derived from the town of Taranto in Italy. The bite of these wolf spiders was once thought to cause a disease known as tarantism, in which the victim wept and skipped about before going into a wild dance called tarantula, meaning the dance of the spider. We now know that this is not the case because, firstly, Italians sing and dance even when they're not bitten by spiders, and secondly, the venom of the wolf spider is so weak that it has basically no effect on humans. Anyway, over time, the name tarantula was used for nearly all large hairy spiders in the Western world. Poor old Lycosa tarantula had its name stolen, and it was left in the dust by those who were ill-informed in the nuances of spider nomenclature. Ironically, this scary name now afforded to big hairy spiders in the family Therapisidae probably suits them better, as they have way bigger fangs and in some instances way stronger venom that can lead to muscle cramping and muscle contractions. Maybe after all it was never the wolf spider, but baboon spiders or tarantulas in southern Europe that caused people to dance with such spastic movements. These spiders, though very creepy for some, can be extremely pretty in terms of their bright and contrasting colors and patterns. Actually, there is quite a booming culture of tarantula breeding and keeping these fascinating spiders as pets. Though this practice may come with certain risks, as it is not like these little critters are toothless in any sense of the word.
Because if you stick your finger in there, it's not gonna end well for you.
She's gonna grab onto it, eh?
A big thanks to Huzi's Tarantulas for making this video possible. They allowed me to take photos and videos of the beautiful spiders in their collection. So give them a call if you are interested in getting a pet spider or need an enclosure for any small creepy crawly pets, as they manufacture top quality enclosures too. Tarantulas occur in the temperate regions of the Old World, that being Africa, Eurasia and Australasia, and also in the New World, the Americas. However, there is a marked difference between the Old World tarantulas, which we in Africa like to call baboon spiders, and the species that occur in the New World. You may find it interesting or good to know if you potentially want to keep a tarantula as a pet, that the defense mechanisms of the Old and the New World species rely on different weaponry. Interesting. The New World tarantula's first line of defense is to release urticating hairs present on their abdomen. The hairs have barbs which cause the hair to work its way into the skin of a potential attacker, and inhaling these prickly little segments should be avoided at all costs. This is therefore a very effective defense against predation by mammals. These urticating hairs are usually released by rubbing or kicking of the legs against the abdomen, and the level of irritation caused by them differs from spider species to spider species, and also the sensitivity of individual humans. Having this useful defense mechanism at their disposal, New World tarantulas don't need a very venomous bite, and it is no surprise that a bite from any of the American tarantulas or the New World tarantulas is nothing to worry about. Apart from some localized pain at the bite site, you should not be inconvenienced too much. However, African tarantulas, which we here in Africa prefer to call baboon spiders, and all the other Old World tarantula spider species lack these irritating hairs. So you can pick them up, sniff them, and pet them at will. Or maybe not. Lacking their American counterparts' bristly hairs, our baboon spider species have been equipped with potent venom, and consequently nearly all of our species can inflict a very unpleasant bite. To compound matters, baboon spiders in general have a way more defensive nature than American tarantulas, and are therefore more skittish and willing to bite. Having been told that tarantula bites are nothing to worry about, I have picked up these spiders when I happened upon them in South Africa. But now that I know a little more about the effects of their venom, I think my baboon spider handling days are a thing of the past. It is clear from medical literature and case reports that baboon spiders can inflict medically important bites, with the most significant symptoms often being severe muscle spasms and cramping, often only starting a few hours after the bite and potentially lasting for days, and in some recorded cases even a few weeks. There we could possibly see the origin of the tarantula dance those Italians were talking about, crying from pain while moving around all herky-jerky. Fits right in there with that description of a weird spider dance. Jokes aside, in a medical case report authored by Ahmed et al., they state that the severe muscle spasms seen in 2 of our patients were a challenge to medical treatment and might, under some circumstance, have been life-threatening. So I think that a proper bite from a baboon spider is therefore not something to take lightly. And I, for one, will not be picking these spiders up all willy-nilly while out and about exploring the bush. Still, they are very pretty spiders and play a crucial role by occupying their niche in the food chain.
It's quite lively species.
Like, you'll see compared to the newer species are slightly more slower moving.
Yes, yeah.
Whatever, but these guys are like they can be very fast,
In southern Africa, we find at least 8 different genera or groups of baboon spiders, so we have a bunch of different species here. I do not know which are the most common ones in southern Africa, but I have found trapdoor baboon spiders and horned baboon spiders myself. These medium-sized tarantulas are scary enough, and to think that the king baboon spider, found higher up in the African continent, can boast a leg span of up to 20 centimeters. That's 8 inches. That just makes me shiver. The king baboon spider's bite has been reported to be very severe too, with hallucinations accompanying the typical muscle cramps. I think this bite should be best avoided. Anyway, back to our hairy friends down south. One should not worry too much about these 8-legged critters, as they spend most of their time in the silk tunnels under rock, debris or in the ground, so your likelihood of stumbling upon them is very small. Though male spiders venture around to find suitable mating partners, and at least they are smaller and therefore less scary looking. They also don't live as long as the big mama jamas, only making it to a few years, where the females can tough it out for 10 or more years, making them better options for keeping as pets. Thank you for watching my video that essentially focuses on African baboon spiders.
Look at that.
This thing just, hey. It's just like they're ready to attack and to bite. So if that was my finger, it would have been...
Oh, it might have, yeah.
I'm certainly no expert on the matter, but I do find them to be interesting, and I hope that you learned something new. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. It really helps a lot to grow the audience and to get my videos out there and seen by people with a shared interest and a shared passion.